Hello, hello. I am Grammars, as you can see down here, also known as the Cross Examiner on Discord. I am playing the Hunters of the Mythos challenge run by the users at the Mythos Busters Discord for the Arkham Horror living card game. I love the game. I've only been playing it for about 6 months. I've been collecting these cards for years because I love Eldritch Horror and I love the Arkham Horror board game. I've been playing those forever, and I knew eventually I'd want to get into this card game. And recently, for some reason, I had the opportunity finally. Son went off to college, started really getting into the card game, and I'm absolutely loving it. So thought I'd participate. Since I'm new, I saw other people posting videos of their playthroughs, so I thought I'd post mine to get any advice that people want to offer, or especially if I have missed any rules. I'm kind of worried about that. I like playing by the proper sequence to make sure I'm not making the game harder or easier on myself. I'm playing Geared Up Solo Vincent, normal difficulty. Geared Up, if you're not familiar with it, is this card. It's sort of the key of the deck. The idea is to try to win the game on turn one, as far as I can tell. You lose 3 actions on turn 1, but you get to play up to 5 item assets from your hand at a discount of 1 resource per item asset. So I'm going to want to get a Schaffner's Catalog and a backpack and really mill my deck for some assets, but also for allies on this scenario, because if you know the scenario, when you get here, you can discard an ally, let them go wander off and gamble or get drunk or whatever, and you gain 2 clues. And that is the key to getting through this thing quickly, in my opinion. I've played this test in a test situation many times, and it seems like if you're going to score well in this scenario, as far as scoring in the challenge, this challenge here, getting done as soon as possible helps you get a lot of points. The problem with that is you also want to collect experience points, so that slows you down a bit. All right, so I also took 2 physical trauma for In the Thick of It, so that I could have 3 experience to buy Studious for my deck right away. That gets me 1 additional card in my opening hand. So now I'm milling 6 cards instead of 5 cards using Geared Up, and hopefully getting a backpack as well. I also have Hallowed Mirror in my deck for healing, so that's what I'm all about. And this is my On the Mend card over here that, if you know Vincent's ability, whenever one of his cards heals anybody, he can pop this into his hand, either my ally or myself. It pops in my hand, and then when I commit it to a skill test, it pops back out. So the deck is focused on bandages and healing to try to make that as automatic as possible, so I have that for every key test. All right. Another important rule for this tournament is every investigator has to pick one of their traits to be their key trait during the entire campaign. My key trait is my only trait, Medic, and that gives you 2 rules that are unique to your trait. One is the scoring system, which I won't talk about here, and the second is a special rule or ability. The Medic ability is at the beginning of the first investigative phase of the first of each scenario. You may make an intellect test with a difficulty of the sum of your damage and horror. So here it would be a 4 versus a 2. It'd be at a +2 on that. If you pass, you get to clear all your damage and horror, which is great. Going to be great later in the campaign if you accumulate any sort of trauma. But if you fail, all of your skills go to 0 for not just your first turn, but your second turn as well. Here in this scenario, I don't care about that because my first turn is always going to be spent just playing stuff, so I don't care about that. But then my second turn, this guy's going to move up here and follow me around, so I'm going to just move and hopefully drop a ally here or go get a drink, so I probably won't be doing any tests my second turn either. The only concern is if I get the test your horror encounter card that could do some real damage to me, but I think it's worth the risk. So we're going to do that now. Well, not now, actually. You have to do that at the beginning of the investigative phase. And finally, another rule for scoring this tournament is you have to keep track of how many turns you begin for scoring purposes. The fewer turns you begin before finishing, the higher your score will be. So I will just put horror tokens over here to keep track of that. So we are beginning our first turn. Actually, we're not beginning it yet because I have to draw in mulligan. So let's shuffle this deck. Let's shuffle the encounter deck up here. Let's make sure our bag is correct over here. 2, 3, yep, this looks good. All right. So we will do our all-important draw and mulligan. We'll get 6 cards here. Backpack is an immediate win. Pocket Telescope is awesome in this. I put it in here because, A, if you need to get this, like if I don't get an ally and I pop down here while this guy's up here, I can investigate using Pocket Telescope and potentially grab this clue while he's up there. Now, that won't matter if I fail this medic test because I will have 0 skills, so it'll be rough. The rest of these are good, especially Hollowed Mirror. But I'd rather get a Schaffner's and some allies, quite frankly. So I'm going to just group these up and discard them. Pocket Telescope, that I didn't finish explaining Pocket Telescope and why it's an important decision, is it can get this clue while you're here, which is okay. But once the dark hallway is down here and you're at it and you get the 3 rooms, you can use Pocket Telescope, which is a free triggered action, what I call a surge, because the lightning bolt looks like the surge icon from the Descent board games, the dungeon crawler, and I like it because it's 1 syllable. So surge, my surge ability on this card is for free. Look at a revealed location of one of those. So you can try to find the exit to avoid, so you can go get the other 2 clues that give you experience points. So you could do that at the end of your move down there to look at 1 room, and if it's not the exit, then at the beginning of your next turn, you can use this again and be sure of all 3 rooms. So that's why I think I'm going to keep this, even though there's another one in my deck. The dilemma is, how important is it for me to get an ally? And I do have Backpack, so maybe I am going to get rid of Pocket Telescope in hope of an ally. So I'm going to draw 5. I did get an ally. I got 2 allies and another Backpack. All right, so hope I get a lot of items in my backpack. So I have 2 shots at it, which is okay. All right, so that's the draw and mulligan phase. I will now begin my first investigative phase, in which I lose all 3 actions due to gear up, and then I can start playing things. So for my first item, for only 1 instead of 2, because of geared up, I will play that. Shuffle this for good luck. Look at 6. Okay, great. I got a weapon, my bandages, and Schaffner's. So that's what I'm taking. I don't care about Fingerprint Kit. It's in here for later scenarios when I can discover 1 additional clue at locations, but there's no like multi-clue locations here. So I'm going to put my backpack items down here. That's the 3 item/supply things that I can get. And I will shuffle these back in. So that's my first action. For my second action, I will play Schaffner's at 1 discount. For my third action, I will play bandages at a 1 point discount. Not my action, but items. For my fourth action, I will put my axe into play for free. And then for my fifth, I'm going to get another backpack in play here for a -1 here. And look at these more cards. There's my Pocket Telescope. Great. Future used this. And which icon really? I'll take this. Probably won't need it. But it does get cards out, so I can get to other cards faster. So we'll shuffle these back in. That was a great first turn. Means the rest of the game is going to go to pot real fast. But I have an ally to toss to the wolves, so to speak, for 2 clues, which means my plan here is to come here on my next turn. I'm going to come here, drop Dr. Milanov so he can go card counting, and then come over here. That's my second turn, and that'll get me out of if I didn't do my test. I should have done my test here at the beginning of my turn. So let's do the medic test. I do pass 4 versus 2. It's a passed test, so which means I lose this. All right, so my plan before we do this Mythos phase is on my next turn I will come here, drop off Dr. Milan, and then come here. And then on my third turn I will buy a drink, which will make it 4 clues, because Milan gives me 2 clues, and this will give me 2 clues, which will put Dark Hallway into play. And then with my remaining 2 actions, I will move to Dark Hallway. Actually, I won't have, yeah. Maybe I'll take a turn to play Pocket Telescope and Guard Dog, because I'll have a turn here, and that way when I move down here, I'll have a turn with Pocket Telescope to look. But we'll work that out. I'd like to have a Pocket Telescope in my hand before getting into the Dark Hallway, because it gives you a free look at the rooms, and then on the beginning of your next turn, you get another look. All right. Let's move forward. Enemy phase. Pit Boss wants to know what I'm doing here with my friend. I'm getting bandages out. I've gone through 2 backpacks. I've got a fire axe in my hand. He's concerned. Upkeep. Let's see what we get. That's a great card if I start getting horror in play. That's good. It also has a sanity. Yeah, it has a sanity or a willpower icon, which is great because that's where I struggle on this deck. All right, Mythos. We are at 1 out of 4. This is the beginning of a new turn technically, so we'll count turn 2. And we need, I think I already shuffled, but let's shuffle for good luck or bad luck. All right, that gains Surge no matter what, and I've not yet had a drink, so it's good to get that out of the way. And this guy is going to come camp out up in the entrance because he was called by the Pit Boss. All right, so far so good. This is pretty quick. Move down here for an action. This location lets me discard an ally to gain 2 clues once per game, so I will discard Milan to go card count. And I will gain 2 clues for my second action. And for my third action, I will come over here. And that is it. That's a whole, turn. Enemy phase. Pit Boss says, you wait here for some reason and come over here. And if you're unfamiliar, excuse me, if you're unfamiliar with the scenario, these guys are aloof until the agenda advances. So that's why it's a race to outrun this guy. All right, that was the enemy phase, upkeep phase. I'll use it for the book icon when I go to investigate. And Mythos, we've got 2 Doom out of 4 now. And this, place 1 Doom on each criminal enemy at my location. I don't have any. I lose 2 resources. That's where Schaffner's really helps out as well. So I lose 2 resources. Schaffner's helps out as well because when I spend these, it's going to power Fire Axe. So that's good. I prefer to have my Bone Saw or my gun at this point. The gun, especially if we get Conglomeration of Spheres, but Fire Axe is just fine. All right, that was the, and again, Mythos is technically the beginning of the round, so I should have done that. So it's the 3rd turn we've started. All right, 3rd turn. So now we have to start thinking about order of operations. If I take this drink now, I have to because I don't want this guy following me here and then preventing me from getting clues. So I'm going to take that drink no matter what. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to take my drink. It costs 2 resources, as you can see, but I gain 2 cards and 2 clues. So I'll gain these icons for investigating later. And then I gain 2 clues. I now have 4 clues. And that was my first action. Now, this act says as soon as you have 4 clues, you must spend them immediately. So we're going to do that right now. Excuse me. We're going to put the Dark Hallway into play and discard encounter cards until we discard a criminal, and that goes into play at the Dark Hallway. So let's unpack this box of everything. Here's Dark Hallway. Okay. So Dark Hallway I'll put right here. And then we discard until we get a criminal. And there you go. Prefer to have one of the other guys that's only 2 fight, but c'est la vie. All right, so here's the thing I was talking about. If I move down here now, then without my pocket telescope, then I will have the rooms out here, but then I'm going to have to spend a turn getting pocket telescope out, and there's like a 1 out of 3 chance that I'm going to see it. So I think instead I'm going to put some things into play, and that will help me be a little more efficient, because I do want to get this into play, and I do want this in play at some point. The dog I can't afford right now because I can't spend this on allies. I can only spend these on items. So I think maybe I'll play my pocket telescope here for 2. That's my second action. And I'm actually okay health-wise here, so maybe I'll just move. So I'll end up here. Well, actually, the other reason I like to stay here is it lures the pit boss here. And then on my next turn, I can move, and then look. And the pit boss is 1 behind me. I'm going to have to fight him sooner or later, but I'd prefer to do it not with the fire axe, but with a gun or my bone saw. So I think I am going to stay here, and then I'll just put... I mean, I could draw a card to try to get the bone axe, bone saw, or I could put this into play, or I could theoretically put this into play, but that gets me further away from guard dog. So I'll put this into play. That's my final action. Okay. Enemy. What's this I hear about you getting our drinks? Upkeep. Come on. Well, that's pretty good too. But I'd rather have a weapon. All right, Mythos phase. We're 3 out of 4. And we get Curse Luck, of course. All right, so now we're going to hightail it out of here before the you-know-what hits the fan. Mythos, again, is the beginning of a new turn. Investigation phase. My first action, I'm moving here. Flip. My second action, I move here, which, let's shuffle these, shuffle, shuffle, puts these into play. That was my second action. And then using Pocket Telescope, their free triggered ability, as I call it, the Surge ability, look at revealed side of a connecting after you exhaust. So I will look up here. Hey, we found the VIP room. All right, so we know we don't want to go there. And this is why having this is so nice. You can avoid going there by accident and wasting a move and a move. It's 2 actions you've lost. Now, either one of these will do. I can go here and get, you know, like if this were the exit, I could end up here and get an icon, then go up here, or an icon, a clue, and then come up here and get another clue, and then get Dr. Francis Morgan, I think is the person we're rescuing, right? Yep. But because of the weird rule about the resigning at the... either way it works, actually. Yeah, either way it works. So if I get a clue at the exit and then come up here and use both my clues, I will have 0 clues. Oh, I forgot to get rid of my clues here when I advanced the act. So yeah, the weird rule I'm explaining is when you resign, my understanding is you drop all of your clues before the game ends. The exit in this scenario has 1 clue on it and is worth 1 victory point. So if you have 1 extra clue, like let's say you get that clue, but then you have 1 or more extra clues at the end of the scenario. So you get a clue from here, a clue from here, and a clue from here. You spend 2 clues to get Dr. Francis. That means you have 1 clue left over, and then you come, let's assume this is the exit, and you come down here to exit. You drop that clue, which means you don't get the victory points for that location. So my understanding is you will never be able to get all 3 victory points here. So it doesn't matter if you go into the exit first or the other, I forget what the third room is. It's like a supply closet or art room or something. Art room, I think. Because one of those two will never give you experience points unless you somehow come up with a weird gamey thing like that card that lets you drop a clue on your location to heal yourself, where you go get the exit one and you come back, you drop it, and then you come back and resign. It's a lot of work for an extra experience point, but if you got the time, got to do it. So that means it doesn't matter which room I go into now. So I will use my final action to go into this room, and that is the exit. So the plan will be, we'll pick up this clue, go over here, pick up this clue, convince Morgan to come with us, come back here and exit, because this is that third room. But if we pick up that clue and then come out here and exit, resign, we drop that clue here, and this victory point will be worth nothing, and this victory point will actually be worth something, but it's the same total, so we're good. All right, that was a long explanation, but this is the point where you sort of have to think it out, and this is why Pocket Telescope is so good. I can now replace it. I don't need it anymore. I can put my magnifying glass in for when I'm investigating. In fact, no, I want to save this just in case something happens and I need my guard dog. What's going to happen here? So at the end of this, I'm trying to decide whether to play magnifying glass right now. I probably will now that I think about it. What's going to happen is this guy's going to move here. Then we'll advance this, which means these guys all lose aloof. So I'm okay. But when I move out here, I'm going to have to fight this guy. The question is, do I move out and fight? Yeah, I think I probably will. And yeah, I think I will. And Fire Axe will give me +1 damage, and it'll let me buff it with a point. So I will, at this point, get rid of this, have this here, and be positioned for a fight. I'd love to heal myself or something. Not having the bone saw really hurts getting this into my hand. So, all right. That's my 3 actions and my free fast action here. So that's the end of this phase. Enemies. This guy moves. Upkeep. Let's get Bonesaw. That'd be great. Nope. Well, gun's good. Gun's good. Can't pay for it without using some turns here, but maybe we hide out here, wait for this guy to come in, and we ambush him and take some hits before going and exiting. We're now at Mythos. We're at 4 out of 4 Doom, so we will clear all Doom and advance this agenda. Shuffle this into here. That's done. And the players, we have not completed extracurricular activity, so we go straight to Agenda 2A. So basically, because this is the early one, we gain 3 extra rounds of play. All right. I keep forgetting to do that at the beginning of the Mythos phase, not that it really matters. New investigative phase. Well, we need this clue no matter what, so let's get the clue. It's a Shroud of 1. I have 4 + 1, so I'm at 5. I'm at a +4. -1 Curse Luck, so I'm at a +3. My +1, so I discard that and get that. That is my first action. All right, so now if I move out, I will have a free swing on this guy. And that... Or, hear me out. Yeah. What's his... Okay. So, I could move here, and then for my third action, move here and take the attack of opportunity, which would do 2 damage to me, but then my bandage would heal me for 1, and that would put this into my hand. That also gets some damage on me for mirror later, that I can heal and draw a card and get this back as well. It would also keep me over here away from this guy for a turn, so I can attack him on my own turn. So I think I'm going to do that. So for my second action, I move here, and this guy engages me. And then for my third action, I move here, which we'd already... Well, it wasn't supposed to be revealed. We reveal it now, so if there was an on reveal, it would happen, but we use Telescope to look at it. So that happens. I'm going to take 4 damage here, but I can heal 2 of it. So I take 2, and this triggers to heal 1 of those, which puts this in my hand. All right. That's the end of my turn. We're going to have to discard some cards. That's okay. All right. Enemy phase. Enemies move first, so he moves. Then anybody who's engaged attacks. He attacks me for 2. I heal 1 of it. It's a bit of a waste because I would love to use these bandages to get this into my hand, but we got to deal with what we got to deal with here, and hopefully I can get Hallowed Mirror into play at some point to heal some of this back off. All right. Upkeep. All right, we have 10 cards. This is used only really for investigating. It's nice to have a few extra resources to power the axe and stuff, but I definitely don't need him. I definitely don't need them, so we'll see. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, we only need 1 more investigating. We've got the icons to do it. All right, Mythos. 1 and 1. All right, not horrible. All right, time to fight. So we are going to, it's the beginning of a new, we're turn 6 here. We are going to fight this guy. He's a 4. I am at a 3 minus 1 because of this, so I'm at a 2. If I use the axe, I could use all 3 resources to do 1 extra damage, which I probably will do because of turn efficiency here. So 1, 2, 3 resources fighting with this axe. So I get +6. So I'm at an 8 versus a 4. I'm at +4. That's usually when the auto-fail kicks in, right? Am I right? Yeah. So thank goodness it didn't. So because I have no resources in my resource pool, it does 1 extra damage and kills that guy and gets rid of this. So that's my first action. For my second action, I'm going to investigate this location with a Shroud of 3, and I am at a 4/5 right now. I'd like to get up to at least here. But this is really important from a turn perspective, so I think I'll go ahead, and there's no reason not to spend this card. I don't have any more investigating to do. So we will do that. So 4, 5, 6, 7 versus a Shroud of 3, so I'm at a +4. Ba-ba-boom. I love it when it comes together. So for that action, we gain this clue. Okay, we have 1 action left, and we have 2 clues. For this act now advances. We spend the clues. It doesn't require an action. It's just an objective. So we advance this act. So we will spend the clues. We have not completed extracurricular activity, so we put Dr. Morgan into play and advance to the all-in act. So we will get rid of this. This is the all-in act. There's one other here that we can get rid of. This says first we have to parlay as an action for a will of 3 test. If I succeed, I basically take control of him, because if you succeed, you put a clue on him, and if you have 1 clue as a solo player, you get him. So I just have to talk him. So that's why I wanted this in my hand. So that's a +2, and this is a +4. So we're now at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versus the test of 3. So I'm at a +4. So for my last action, I do that. I pass it. This pops over here. This comes here, and he comes here. So I won't need the guard dog, and he can soak some damage for me if we need to run out, which we will. Things are looking very good here. He says, stupidly, because the game can hear him. All right, enemy phase. He comes in, engages me, and attacks. I'm going to put 2 damage on this guy. Whoops. And then use this to heal one of those, which puts this back into my hand. And I believe bandages, you must discard it as soon as it has no supplies, so I do. All right, so looking pretty good here. We're going to kill this guy and then run out, hopefully. We might draw an enemy, but we can drag, and we're looking good health-wise, so we could drag him to the exit if we do. Upkeep. Okay, good, no weakness. Mythos, 2 out of 3. This could do a lot of horror to us. -4. That is a number, so we take 1 damage. I'll put it on him. This was, again, I keep forgetting, that's the beginning of a turn. All right, so let's kill this guy for a victory point, hopefully. All right, we're going to have to use 2 attacks, but we'll have to buff it. All right, so first attack, I spend a resource, and that gives me +2. So that's 3, 4, 5 versus a 3. So I'm at +2, which is pretty good. I'm a little short. No, I'm not. So I'll make it a +3. That gets me into an 80-something% chance. So +3. That is a -3, and if I succeed, gain 3 resources. That'll let me buff the fire axe. Oh, that's awesome. So that does 2 damage because I have no resources. 1, 2. That was my first action. For my second action, I will spend all 3 of those resources to give me a +6. 1, 2, 3. So 3 + 6 is 9 versus 3. I'm at a +6 for this test. -3. He's dead. Bring him here to get rid of all the tokens and put him in the victory display. Boop. All right. That was my second action. I haven't had to even use this yet. That's great. And for my third action, I move here. Enemy phase. No enemies. This guy is chilling up here. He doesn't have Hunter. Upkeep. Looking good so far. Mythos. All right, we advance the agenda. Now the only question is, does the experience point monster come into play? So, spawn a random enemy from the Hideous Abominations deck. Let's shuffle this for good luck. It is not the experience point guy. All right, it's too bad. Really like experience in this scenario, in this campaign, because it's hard to come by. Okay, I didn't process the rest of that, which is shuffle the 2 set-aside decks in and the encounter pile, move everybody out of La Bella Luna and discard it. So the Striking Fear deck, the Abominations go in here, reshuffle that. This guy moves here. This leaves play. And we now have 7 turns to complete this. I'll have to look at the scoring. At this point, if I were playing by myself, I would come and hang out here and wait to see if I draw the Hideous Abomination that is worth an experience point, and then kill it, but right before I resign, because I don't care about this scoring thing. But we are trying to score, so I don't think I'll do that. I think that's pretty much the end of the scenario. I think I failed to do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Doom. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this will be, yeah. We're on turn 7. Turn 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is correct, because I used 4 turns to get rid of the first agenda, 3 more turns to get rid of the second agenda, and here we are. So 4, 3, and 1. So let's... I'm going to pause and take a look. Actually, I won't pause. I'll just look it up here. I have it saved somewhere. Let's see. Let's see what the scoring is for medics. See how many turns I have. I'm on turn 8. I think 8 and 9 might be the same. Here we go. Scoring system. Not that scenario. This scenario. Looking for medic. Okay, so this is medic. If you reach a conclusion in 6 or should say fewer rounds, the team earns 7. Between 7 and 8 rounds, you earn 4. Oh, that's without him. If you have Dr. If you resigned in the back alley and you reach conclusion 1, yeah. But if you reach conclusion 2, which is having the doctor, then 7 or 8 gives me 7 points. So I'm going to lose 3 points if I don't get out of here now. So I'm going to do that. We advanced the agenda. We didn't draw a card yet. So I may still draw the experience guy here. Let's see what happens. All right, so it's not going to matter. That's my will 3 test. For style points, I'll try to pass it. It's a +3, +4. I do pass it. This guy comes over here. Discard, discard, discard. And I take an action to move here. And I take an action to resign. I don't have any clues, so they don't drop into this location. So I believe I have completed this in 8 rounds with 1, 2, 3 experience points. Yeah, fun deck. Many things went well. I didn't get the bone saw, but the fire axe is fire when you use it right. So that's that. Thanks, and any feedback would be much appreciated.